a show. Should we do a musical show one of these days, Brian?
100% sure. In all of our infinite free time when we feel like we could do one good enough.
Okay. Enough of this. Let's put effort into it. Let's just start singing. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like everyone's just amazed that a toddler could do anything. They're not gonna fuss about how good it is.
Right. Yeah. Wow. They actually tried to sing.
That's adorable. It's incredible.
Those guys are adorable. Welcome to Cordkillers.
Oh, he's doing it. Look. Adorable. Uh-oh. Hold on.
Wait a minute. Hold on, everybody. Stop what you're doing.
Well, let me see. Stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I don't know why. So
what are you doing?
I'm trying to see the chat link. There we go. I found it. Let's see if it works. Does it work? Test.
Does it blend?
Oh no, it's not working.
Anybody remember that does it blend phenomenon?
Yeah, dude.
I do.
Not us.
Will it blend?
Real people.
Pure, unbelievable. That rarest of thing, an IP that becomes like beloved, and then they screwed it all up.
Yeah. No one ever screws anything up.
Okay.
What's up with that?
Brian doesn't have thoughts about any of this when it comes to branding and marketing.
Absolutely not. Maybe we should change our name to Brand Squatters.
Yep.
I don't know why I chose
King,
squat,
King
by the way.
Squat of Oof Mountain. What am I even? That's not.
King Squat of Oof Mountain?
Yeah.
Now you're writing a children's book. When King Squat of Oof Mountain came down to sing, all the people said, ooh.
All right.
I feel like I should have started writing children's books a long time ago.
Did you only recently start?
No, I haven't started them yet.
Well, I think the key is you have to get famous first, and then just whatever. It doesn't matter. Anything you do.
Yeah, no, that's one route. The other route is it's like going viral. You hit on the concept that makes every parent in the gift store go, oh, that's so funny. I definitely want that for my child.
Yeah.
And it's you've just got to be really on top of the trend.
Yep. All right.
Like 2 years ago, when 6 met 7 would have been like a huge kids book idea.
When 6 meant 7.
Yeah, the whole 6-7.
Oh, jeepers. Okay. And with you know what? I was on the fence on whether or not I was going to go to the bathroom. Now, yeah. Good day, sir.
That made it for you. Yes. You thought, well, there's no safer hands to leave this live stream in.
Go number 1 after those.
Thank goodness it was number 1.
My girl.
I was disappointed that my daughter turned 13
right?
right in the middle of all that. We didn't get like
you
got a number 1 and a
party.
3 for the. Yeah, we didn't get a 6 plus 7.
Yeah,
I was like,
what were you saying?
We're wishing her happy birthday, and I was like, man.
My girlfriend was talking about writing a children's book the other day, and we had basically the exact same conversation. When 6 met 7 kind of came up.
Yeah. And
I looked it up, and
I mean, it is too late for that.
Yeah. On Amazon, I searched 6-7, and I found birthday party decorations. So there are kids having 6-7 birthdays.
Like Amos. Yeah. Yeah, my niece was 9 and 10 in the throes of 6-7, and my other niece was 4 and 5. So just never was going to work for either one of them. What's the new thing? What are the kids into now?
It's still 6-7 carryover.
It's fading though. There's definitely an air of like, oh, the olds found out.
If you're young enough, it might just be a thing that's always been and will always be funny.
Yeah, right. I've never lived in a world without
6-7.
I gotta go separate dogs.
You need to separate dogs. Everybody's got an excuse. I have to go number one. I have to separate dogs. I have to go write a hit children's book. Nobody wants to do the streams anymore.
No, I'm here for it. Man,
Brian came back.
I was about to. It's a children's book. Brian got upset and he left, but then he came back.
I'm so upset I have to pee, said Brian as he began to flee.
Oh, me. I was going to grouse about the amount of news, but then I realized, what's it been, 20 minutes since we recorded? This will be our 4th Cordkillers in a week.
This week. Yep. Take that, America.
Yeah, take that, daily news programs.
Yeah. Call yourselves daily. You don't even do Saturday and Sunday most of the time.
What was it? I was talking online about how you don't mind understated old school websites, and I talked about the Cordkillers original discussion, how on Squarespace I was like, it seems like there could be more pizzazz. You're like, I am not a fan of pizzazz. And then I think it was BioCare in the chat says, you don't say. The host of a daily tech news show called Daily Tech News Show doesn't like a lot of polish.
Pizzazz?
How about that?
Huh. Yeah. I wanted to
felt
call
like
this
in that
show
moment you
watching
were
TV
seeing-
and video online.
Yeah. How do you watch television? I was really glad.
And if I'd got to name Sword and Laser, it would have been Science Fiction and Fantasy Book Club Show.
With Tom Merritt and Veronica
And
Belmont.
Veronica Belmont.
Available as this RSS. Speaking of which, we get to correct someone on the RSS.
I don't know how often I've talked about this. I know I've mentioned it before, but I don't think it's been very often. DailyTechNewsShow.com was picked as a placeholder. Like, I just needed a URL.
Well, you needed something to convey.
What is the most generic thing? And I was like, well, it's a daily tech news show. I'm like, okay, great. I'll figure out what to name it later, but that'll be the placeholder I send everyone to.
It really is kind of a testament to, like, Amazon was a terrible name until it was the name of the thing that did magic.
Tom, you're still waiting for a real name for the show. It's just still
that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I still haven't come up with a good idea. So we've had that placeholder.
Right. I've taken so many showers, guys, and nothing's coming to me. All right. Are we feeling it? Are we ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
All right.
Welcome in to Cordkillers. The world of entertainment is turned upside down, and me and Brian Brushwood just trying to find out how to watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian. Where's the good stuff, Brian?
Yeah, man. Well, okay, we're going to find out where all the good stuff is, but you left out the most important character in this children's fable. It's the audience. They're the ones that we do this for.
I am so sorry, audience. When Tom and Brian went up the hill, they thought they would find cords, and they'd killed them all. That's my story.
Yep. That'll make sense for anybody who watched the pre-show. But for now, we can go in with our first segment.
Supply run.
Supply run. Supply run.
Also doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, finally it makes sense.
Speaking of something that doesn't make any damn sense, the concept of a television show's season. Ampere analysis found that what it terms the Stranger Things effect has caused the average gap between seasons of scripted originals on major platforms to have almost doubled from 12 months between a season. Remember, we used to go 3 months in the summer between seasons. 12 months on season between a season on average in 2020 to 21 months between seasons in 2025. The average gap between seasons of scripted originals was just 10 months a decade ago. Shows with gaps of more than 30 months between seasons have achieved the highest engagement in the premiere month of the new season. So it's a recipe for getting people to tune in, make them miss you. Viewing of Stranger Things rose by 300% in the second half of 2025, ahead of the release of the 5th and final season. So it not only helps your current season, it helps your back seasons as well. Ampere said with particularly strong viewing of season 1, suggesting new viewers were discovering the series ahead of the premiere of the final season, and that existing fans obviously were revisiting earlier episodes. Despite strong engagement around returning shows, long gaps do create a risk. In Q1 of this year, 54% of people told Ampere they would likely cancel a subscription if they weren't using it often enough. So while a long gap between seasons is good for an individual show, if you spend too long between seasons and you don't give people other things to watch in between, you might lose them as a subscriber.
So, Tom, I have a dumb dismissive take on this and a smart, thoughtful, possibly insightful one. The dumb dismissive one.
Let's go with the one that's going to do the best for our show. Give me the dumb one.
Yep. The dumb one is, Tom, can you think of anything that might have caused delays in new season that happened maybe in the first half of this decade? Anything at all that maybe would cause a normal gap between seasons to take a little bit longer?
Yeah, I mean, COVID, obviously, right?
Well, and on top of that, though, on top of that, the writer's strike immediately afterwards.
Yeah, which I don't think had as much of an effect this time around as it did back in like 2007, 2008. But it did have an effect for sure. But the average gap between seasons a decade ago, so 2016 was already 10 months. Yeah, I think you can definitely say COVID and the writer's strike accelerated the trend. But it's not something where it's like, well, it got real long for COVID, and then it started to get shorter again, and then the writer's strike, and then it got shorter again. Like, this is something where it's like it was getting longer, and then it got longer, and then stayed longer, and it's now it's like super long.
Well, and this is what leads me to my smarter defense is, just so I've got this, it's calling it the Stranger Things effect. Netflix, a little bit data-driven, right? So one of the questions, there's two things. One of the questions I see with people starting their YouTube channel is the question is, when should I post my content? And like so many things, YouTube literally gives you the answer to it. If you look at your own data, there's something called a heat map that shows Sunday through Saturday. It shows a work week, and there'll be really dark purple of when people are showing up and real light purple when they're not there. So the answer is obviously you do it 10% into the day right as your audience comes in. So there is no set answer to it, right? And so likewise, if you're going to do, if you're going to get everybody's interest because of your Stranger Things phenomenon, I would imagine that what is the right distance between seasons? I would say right at the cusp when the data indicates people are about to get annoyed and start canceling. So it's like an inverse heat map. And so quite simply, the question is, why is it getting longer? The answer almost certainly is because you'll tolerate it. Because literally you're just at your wit's end, and mathematically, because algorithmically, I don't know about you, Tom, I actually encourage people. I'm a hardcore skeptic. I'm about to take the stage at CSICOM, the Center for Skeptical Inquiry. And yet, functionally, when it comes to deciding things, I treat the YouTube algorithm as though it's literally psychic, as though it literally just knows what the crowd wants, and I just do whatever it says, because at a large enough big data scale, it's going to be 100% right. That's the simplest way to think of it. So I would assume that the length in between seasons, if it's data-driven, it will be exactly at the moment you are about to give up. What do you think of that?
Should we even call them seasons?
Yes, 100%.
Just because we've always called them seasons? Because they're not seasons. The season used to be like, oh, fall through spring, and then summer season it would be off, and then the new season would start. These are series. I actually like the European word better here. Although we use series to mean the entire run, so it's confusing and you can't go there. But chapters or something would almost be better. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter what the terminology is, but I think it's funny. Like, this is gonna go the way of album, where an album is no longer an album full of multiple 78 records collected together from one artist.
Is that really where the word comes from?
That's where the term album comes, like a photo album, but of individual singles. it now means a collection of singles in a playlist on music. And we've gone through multiple permutations since then. I feel like that's season. Season is just, it's a word for all the shows that came out together, or even in some cases they didn't come out together, but the person issuing them said they're part of the same story. There's going to be a new story in the next season, but we're putting out this season in 2 parts, which is really 2 seasons. I think, to bring this back to where you were going with it, that there probably is no limit on the length between seasons that will boost your engagement. In fact,
ask Futurama. It once took 3,000 years in between seasons.
So as I'm saying that, I'm realizing like, yeah, but if your entire audience dies and everyone forgets about your show, obviously that's a limit. So, there's going to be an outside limit, but the longer you wait, as long as it's less than, 20 years, probably somewhere between 10 and 20 years, the more attention is going to come back if people liked your thing. Like, oh my gosh, we're finally getting a new Star Trek movie, right? That's going to be a thing. When Star Wars came back, it had been a long time since there had been a Star Wars movie. So I think you can go long. It's that second part that Ampere pointed out that I think is important, which is that's fine for the show. But what do you do in the meantime? So let's say you only put a Stranger Things out every 4 years, right? Let's say they kept doing that. You have to have things that keep people subscribed within the 4 years, or you fail as a business. So you have to have lots of things coming in. And when you bring it to a YouTube channel operator, the YouTube channel operator is being both the maker of Stranger Things and Netflix, right? Because your channel, even though it's on YouTube, is the platform, and you need to make sure people are coming back to your channel if you want to stay in business.
Yeah. Man, a lot of threads to chase. Which one do you want to talk about?
Pick your poison. My head goes in I always look at these things. This is the magic of Cordkillers. I'm going to pull back the veil a little bit here. Brian always comes at something as, I'm a creator. Here's what I think this means for me as a person who's making things for you. Though I am also a creator, always come at it as, you are a consumer. So what can I tell you, the consumer, that is going to help you understand how this all works? And the magic is we play off each other and come up with something that is both insightful from the creator and the consumer standpoint. So that's a long way of saying, I'm not sure which thread would be best for that interplay.
Mainly because what I'm trying to get you to check swing on is you open up the door of like, what do words even mean? And I just want to play in that landscape, like what is a network? Should you even call it a network, or what is it? Is it a platform? Or I do like the word a season because it, number one, is already anchored. It has inertia right there.
That's the biggest argument for it right there. Yeah.
But
we all
also
kind of know what it means.
I also like what it conveys. It's a thing that has a beginning and an end, that that we go into one season, and it implies that the arc of the story that comes after is going to have a different flavor than the one that came before it. So I wouldn't muck with a season. And in fact, I kind of love podcasts that do seasons. I think more YouTube properties should consider doing seasons, because
YouTube's giving them more tools to be able to manage that too.
Well, especially because there is YouTube creator burnout is a real thing. And part of the reason that happens is because there's a expressed concept of forever engines, like everything like this forever. And then people just keep on trying to please this robot in increasingly very likely unhealthy ways, and then they burn out and then they crater. Whereas if they had seasons, if they began knowing that there would be an end, and you're right, this is my bias going to the creator stuff, but I think you get superior stories when the creator gets to know that he's not getting on a forever treadmill.
Right. I mean, we've seen that happen in mainstream television, where the forever treadmill was not the season. You knew your season would be 26 episodes, but you didn't know when that season would be the last season, because they were like hoping to run your show as long as they possibly could, until they didn't. And then suddenly shows got better because, oh, I know I have 6 seasons to tell this story. Great. I will be able to have a beginning, middle, and end because I know when the middle is. And so that applies there as well. The problem is, how do you, if, like, just a single YouTube creator, like a single person doing a vlog, right? Like, I'm Cecilia Bloomdahl in Svalbard, and the way I make all my money is every week I tell you a story about living in the community that's the farthest north in the world. By the way, it's a real person. Go check out her channel. It's pretty awesome. If she doesn't post, she doesn't get paid. So how do you do seasons in that world? And this is what made me go, ooh, what is your equivalent of summer reruns? Because the television networks had this exact same problem. They couldn't keep new stuff in primetime all year long. And there was a drop off in viewers during the summer that meant it wasn't worth it to do that. So in the summer, they would run reruns and specials and, different kinds of things. Is there an equivalent of that for an individual YouTube creator?
If we really want to pull back the curtain, this is one of the values you get out of watching Cordkillers. That's kind of what I'm experiencing this very summer is, as you know, I started going live with office hours every single day, mainly just to familiarize myself with the tools, to have an excuse to get the studio up to speed and get to a place where I could tell a story without thinking of the mechanical doodads. And then 3 months in, we stumbled across the fact that we could play old episodes of Scam School because I was worried about them becoming white dwarfs, heat death of the universe of too much content on YouTube. I wanted the recency bias to have them show up. And then, but at some point, that kind of became on rails. And now I'm trying on hot take news stories from the frontier of the edge cases of AI and the societal change that's happening with it. Now, keep in mind, I have no idea how much anybody has an appetite for any of this, and I need the reps no matter what. But this is a way where I'm on a bit of a creative holiday, much to the chagrin of some people, because I kind of have a factory job to show up and do an Elvira thing where we revisit old episodes of Scam School, but it's not making any money. I'm just keeping a seat warm. And I guess the answer is, Tom, I'll report in a few months how it goes, because a non-zero possibility is every day I'm making little changes to the titles, to the thumbnails, to the type of content that I do. And every so often one is popping in an interesting way. Like one of them popped on a very weird AI experiment that I never would have thought to make a segment out of it, but it's the most popular live stream we've ever done on the channel. And it's got like a 9% click-through rate. So that is, as economists call it, a market signal that will shape the content going forward to see what happens. I don't know.
But you didn't take a break.
No.
Like you didn't go into reruns.
No.
You didn't run specials.
I would love to. It would be great.
So what you describe, your answer to like, what does a creator do to be able to take time off and recharge was, I don't know. I haven't done it.
I look forward to hearing about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the tricky part, right? Like, there are teams out there like Rhett and Link and stuff that are, at least conceivably, I don't know that they do this, but conceivably, Rhett could cover a month while Link is gone and vice versa. But even then, people want them both. That's the real magic. So I don't know if there's any answer other than you just got to eat it, and hope that the audience comes back and hope that you get the Stranger Things effect when you come back from the hiatus.
There's a really good book. We're kind of venturing outside of our normal beat, but this is a fun Galaxy Brain topic called Just Evil Enough. And it talks about the value of novel marketing schemes and about how they seem to work once or twice and then other people do it and then it doesn't work. For example, Radiohead, at the peak of tension about what's the future of music, they said, you know what, pay whatever you want for our album. And then they made just a ton of money. And then meanwhile, by the time Trent Reznor did the same thing with the Nine Inch Nails, it turns out to have been a mistake because now it was no longer novel. And there have been a few times that you and I have been part of novel arcs, and it's almost as though showing up every day, I'm really just scanning the horizon of like, what's the next interesting novel move? So I don't know. I'll report on that.
Yeah, well, Scanning the Horizon isn't coming till later in the show, but this is the time when we will ask you humbly to support the show directly so that we can figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, dude, look, we're getting ready to rethink a lot of stuff, and the people who are going to hear about it first are the folks who support us over at patreon.com/Cordkillers, patreon.com/Cordkillers. Guess what? Right now, today, you get tangible benefits. You get your own RSS feed, so you can listen to an unbroken, 2 hours in a row where we do the program, we do the full experience, we do the after talk segment, all of that showing up right there in your feed. And you get the smug satisfaction of knowing that you're one of our literal bosses. You get to tell us what to do, and we listen.
Today, June 9th, 2026, is a new era. Everyone that came before has built the foundation of Cordkillers. But if you become a patron now, you are the first of a new era.
That's right.
Patreon.com/Cordkillers. Let's move on to the search party.
Nailed it.
This is where we search around and find things that might be interesting for you to watch. And we'll even talk about some things that we watch. Deadline reporting that Prime Video has rescinded its series order for a new Stargate from show veteran Martin Gero. So you won't be able to watch a new Stargate anytime soon. The show was already in pre-production in the UK. They'd done 20 weeks in a writer's room. They were ready to go. There's a long explanation in Deadline about all these executive shakeups within MGM, which has the rights to Stargate, and that's why it was going to be made for Prime Video because Amazon owns MGM. And it sounds like one executive loved it, and then the new executive was like, yeah, okay, it kind of works. And then another executive came in and was sour on it, and then that executive was like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't work. And then they became a victim of all of that. There's an episode of The Studio probably going to be based on what happened to Stargate at MGM.
Yeah. I was live. It was actually just after our show last week that the news dropped. And so we were live in the middle of Great Night, and over Justin Robert Young's shoulder, I saw the chat visibly crestfallen. So, yeah, I mean, it's, man, the internet, we're like the children of divorced parents. We're very accustomed to having things handed to us and then taken away.
Martin Gero did a lot of work on this. They have a 20-week writer room. The show was in pre-production. There is a non-zero chance that they can make a compelling case to someone else, hey, pick this up. The tricky part there is MGM has the rights to Stargate, so then they still have to convince MGM to license that somehow. And these are the people that just killed the whole thing. So who knows? I have scant hope, but I do have some hope for Stargate coming back. Oh, wait, here's another one that you can't watch. Netflix has paused pre-production on Hannibal. This is just a pause, though, not a cancellation. Hannibal is a film from Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington. Washington, of course, going to star in it. Fuqua is directing. And John Logan, who wrote Gladiator and The Aviator, has written the script for it. It does feel like this is more of a Netflix wants to get a handle on the budget kind of situation from what Variety was saying.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if Denzel's at the point in his career that he's still hungry for prestige. I mean, they're all of Hollywood's endlessly hungry for prestige or whatever.
You just asked if an actor wanted attention. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, but also like sometimes people are willing to do something just because they really like it. I'm thinking of Tom Hanks's Project Greyhound, which I thought was adorable, but it obviously wasn't, or to my eyes, it wasn't necessarily gunning for an all-time Oscar or something. It was good.
Yeah,
good.
I imagine certainly egos and attention and status are always a part of, like you said, of everything in Hollywood. There's also Netflix shifting from, just throw money at the problem, which is probably where their stance was when they signed Denzel and Antoine up to do this years ago.
Probably why they
you know what? We're trying to be wiser with our money these days. Not that we're hurting for money, but, we don't just throw it away. You need to justify some stuff. You're over budget. And maybe there was a little resistance of like, hey, you guys are singing a different tune than you were before. What gives? And now they just have to pause and have a come to Ted Sarandos.
Yeah,
meeting.
exactly.
Here's something you'll actually be able to watch starting June 25th, the 5th and final season of The Bear on Hulu and FX coming June 25th. There's a trailer out for this. I know you haven't kept up with The Bear, but I've noticed that when there's a new trailer for a new season of The Bear, you often will watch it anyway. Did you watch this one?
Yeah, dude, they got to cook some food and there's steaks. It's finally do or die, Tom.
Literal steaks.
They may
grilling
or may
in a
not.
pan.
It may or may not be a big deal. I'll tell you, the way this was shot, I kind of unironically wanted to see just the Zerg rushing them. I wanted to see some kind of sci-fi, like, we got to make enough sliders to feed all of these aliens or we're going to die. I would have been 100% there for that.
I think they're trying to avoid spoilers, especially for people like you who haven't caught up. They want people to get excited. They want the Stranger Things effect. They want people to go, ooh, the final season of The Bear is out. I better catch up. And so they don't want to give away anything that'll make somebody sad and go like, oh, well, now I know what happens. However, as someone who is caught up, I didn't feel like this told me much other than a thing that would be a spoiler to say I was surprised to see. And I guess they really are running out of money this season because it's the final season. So...
I did notice that they had misprinted T-shirts in that. Was that a reference to something that happened in a previous season?
It may be, and it may be a reference that the misprint may be a reference that I don't remember. I expect it's an on purpose or a mistake they embraced
or a plot
something
point
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what is significant is the beef was the original restaurant that was run by Carmi's brother. And Carmi took it over and converted it to fine dining, but kept selling the beef sandwiches in a window. And I don't think it's too spoilery to say that like that part of the business was doing pretty good, was cooking along just fine. So I wonder if them all wearing the shirts from the beef has to do with that somehow.
Did you notice what was printed it? Because it didn't say the beef.
No, it says the bear.
It says the Berf, BERF, the Berf.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't notice that actually, but I feel like that's going to be an in joke or a reference.
That's going to be
like
like fact shows up with the wrong, like what? I swear they printed them. I thought this was right.
Or they had a bad review or something went viral and called them the Berf, and so they lean into it like, yeah, we're the Berf.
Yeah. Well, my main question is whether
the Bear is the name of the fine dining restaurant. Maybe that's people start calling it the Berf because it's got the beef in that. Yeah. That feels like.
But whatever it is, it's not a joke that I was supposed to get.
I don't think so. No, I didn't even notice it, to be honest. So good eye. All right. This is the part of this segment where we talk about stuff we have been watching ourselves with our two, I don't mean to brag, little eyes called Buried Treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
I have been very excited to talk to Brian about his promised adventure to start watching Star City without going back and picking up For All Mankind. So, Brian, what did you watch this week?
I almost made it to the end of Spider Noir. I'm on episode 7, or I guess I have only the last episode on there. It just keeps being good, Tom. Spider Noir is really a lot of fun, and there's genuine surprises down the road. I think you'll really dig it. I have ping-ponged between the in-color version and the black and white version.
You did figure out the black and white. How to make it happen.
You know what? It was a technical rollout because I was not given the option on the TV when it launched. But then, like 3 days later, it was like, what's it gonna be? This one or the other one?
That is unfortunate. You probably want that option available at launch. So I'm curious about that. All right, Spider Noir with what's his face?
Yep, and the other one. It's Nicolas Cage. There's actually there's a couple of things that I was worried that would be particularly Nicolas Cagey, and they began to show up, and I'm like, oh, Nicolas Cage, why you got to do these Nicolas Cage overreactions? Turns out, important plot point. It's great.
Ah,
and then they
okay.
lean into it and it goes somewhere.
They write into it.
I love this story that they're doing.
Well, I did finish For All Mankind finally. I was a little late to it, but I powered through. It ends in battle on Mars, which is kind of a fun trope at this point with Mars stories. And I was riveted for the final 3 episodes. I was like, where are we going with this? How is this going to happen? What are they doing? There's also a mission to Titan, one of the moons of Saturn, happening at the same time. And for reasons that I can only describe as it made a better story, they put mission control for the Titan mission on Mars.
Oh, I love that. They need that. They need that 15-minute light speed head start for their transmissions.
Yeah, and then they need mission control to be in the middle of a battle while they're also trying to manage the people that are, so far away. So that was all incredibly dramatic and incredibly great. There are stakes, especially with the Titan storyline. That are even tastier than the ones we saw cooking on the berth. But in the end, the way the Martian storyline ends, I was a little disappointed with.
Is that, and that's the end of For All Mankind, or just
and that's the end of For All Mankind?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Did Rock Hudson look into a pond and say, "We're the Martians now"?
No, thankfully. Unfortunately, Rock Hudson didn't show up. Thankfully, they didn't try to mimic that ending. It was a little bit of like, okay, spoilers for the end of For All Mankind. For anyone
I don't
who
think
cares.
you could take anything away. Like everything
it'll be
you've
20
said,
to 30. Don't try to convince people who hate spoilers not to hate spoilers in this moment. Let me just let them skip 30 seconds ahead.
All right.
So they don't get mad. Pause. They end it with Earth saying, "Ceasefire. We all agreed to stop fighting." And then a guy runs really far to let them know, "Stop shooting each other. It's all over. We're at peace now." And then you can kind of, okay, everybody's back. I'm not going to be spoiler anymore.
Okay.
It's like, oh, really? Okay. And then there were some clear like Easter eggs at the very end that are pointing to Star City that if I was paying really close attention to the early seasons of For All Mankind, I probably would get, and then be like, oh, I guess we're going to get that in Star City. But I didn't get them, and I didn't bother to go to Reddit to find out what they were.
So I am going to watch Star City, but I want to participate in my new favorite game, which is, what is Tom's Brian prediction model saying about what I'm going to experience when I watch Star City?
I have begun Star City. It is a very different tone, which you need. You're going to set Star City in the same universe as For All Mankind, starting at the same time as For All Mankind, but in the Soviet Union. It's obviously going to have a different tone. I want to prepare you for something. All the people in the Soviet Union in this universe have a British accent.
Oh, love it. I'm here for it.
They all read things in English. Occasionally, the papers that were in Cyrillic in one scene have English on them in the close-up.
Totally okay with it.
Yeah. Other than that, it's really leaning into it's a dour behind the Iron Curtain. No one is allowed to be free to do what they want. We are all in the service of the Marxist-Leninist revolution. And there's some surprises and twists so far in the first 2 episodes that I thought were pretty good. That's all I'll say.
Very cool. Okay. So all right, you're feeling good about me doing the experiment.
I am curious if you will find it too dour and slow, but I don't see any obvious red flags except for the Soviet Union one.
No, it's obviously
good. Yeah. All right. If you got something we should be out on the lookout for, send us a red flag. Email cordkillers@gmail.com. Now we shall tell people that they should come meet us in person.
2 weeks.
In like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Yeah. You saw the documentary Total Recall? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's what you'll be saying 2 weeks from now when you come join us. That's smooth. That was a good transition.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Look, man.
No one will know.
Tom and I have been talking. You need a vacation. You need to take some time off. You've got a weird idea and you're just wondering if this crazy upside down, topsy-turvy world, if now might not be the right time to go for it. Whatever your weird idea is. Maybe it's content creation. Maybe it's a new business. Maybe you need marketing advice. Maybe you want to do the anatomy of what works and what doesn't work. Tom and I have lived some very strange, very weird careers, and we have taken notes on the entire thing. That's why you could spend 3 nights and 2 days with us at the world famous Wizard Academy. Head on over to wizardacademy.org and you'll see a class coming up in June 23rd, 24th. Is that what it is?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
June 23rd,
So do
24th.
your weird thing. You'll see my face. You'll see Justin Robert Young's face. You'll see Tom's face. You'll see Andrew Heaton's face. It's going to be amazing. All your meals are going to be catered. You're going to stay in deluxe accommodations on campus. You'll get a tour of the world famous whiskey vault with thousands of different whiskeys from all around the world. It's going to be great. And you're going to get pure distilled. I hesitate to use the word wisdom, but guess what, Tom? I'm 51 years old. I get to use the W. I get to take the W, wisdom. That's right. I'm wise now. Was a wise guy. Now I'm a wise man. And the two of us are going to dispense wisdom all over Austin at the Wizard Academy. Come on out. Get wise.
Yeah. We're both Ards. Wise Ards.
Wise arts. Yes.
Now let's scan the horizon.
Nailed it.
Send a scanning crew aboard.
Scanning the horizon!
So we talked about Plex raising its price soon for its lifetime pass. And Plex is also adding some new social features to make current monthly subscribers happier. But also, if you're going to pay extra for that lifetime pass, you get some new stuff too. They're adding discussions this month, a community forum where users can post comments and talk about movies or TV shows. It's a Reddit-ish thing, but within Plex. Lists is coming now. Lets users create, manage, and share lists of their favorite movies and shows, react with emojis, not just simple star ratings. Might be a fun thing to use on full experience if it takes off. You could share images about stuff, and you can import eventually lists from other places like IMDb. Later this year, Match Score is coming. That'll try to predict how much a user might enjoy a particular title based on the viewing habits that Plex knows about them and their preferences. And then alerts will notify users about new activities related to their lists, movies, shows, films, and any people that they follow on Plex as well.
Tom, are you on somebody's Plex? Do you run a Plex? Are you Plex adjacent?
I do. I have a Plex, and I also in my Plex have access to other Plexi.
Okay. And should I get in on that grift?
No.
Yeah, right?
I mean, if the way I have gotten in on Plex or Ember or any of the other similar ones, MB, sorry, is somebody says, oh, I have all the Aftermath shows. Let me share my server with you. And then I serve it. Or, I have all the episodes of Matlock. You can get them here. And then I use it for that. And they always say, use it for anything else. I got a whole library in there. And I go and I look at their library and I'm like, ooh, there's so much cool stuff in here. I definitely want to watch this someday. And then I never do.
Yeah. What here's the problem, Tom, is we could lie to ourselves and say if we just had more time, but you and I both know if we both had more time, we'd just invent another podcast to do.
Exactly. Right? Like, you're telling me Spider Noir is great. I believe you and trust you that Spider Noir is great and will know when I watch Spider Noir, it'll be great. And I just need to catch up on Star City, Hacks, Bob's Burgers, 12K dramas, and all the other stuff I have to watch, plus all the stuff I enjoy watching on YouTube. Like, it's just too much stuff.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I do have, I forgot. I watched Rick and Morty just so I could tell you that I watched something besides Spider Noir.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And?
It's Rick and Morty. It's interesting because the writer's room is sort of screaming how tired they are of being awesome through the voice of Rick. Like they're bored of just being gods and awesome. So the first episode is all about like, how do you turn, great, they're saving all dimensions through all time and humanity of space. and it feels very galactic-y. And then the second episode is like he goes on vacation, which means he wipes his mind and goes to a very small, I don't know, 1990s story planet. And it's a very, very small story that ends with him bored of being a living god again. It's like, so far, 3 out of 3 is just Rick is too awesome at everything. And it's like, yeah, that's the problem that you guys have.
Maybe he needs to get sued by the attorneys general of California and New York.
What?
That's keeping things interesting for Paramount.
Go on. They too are like gods of Paramount.
We thought Paramount was the god who won and would be able to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Turns out California and New York are among states preparing a lawsuit to oppose the merger of Paramount Skydance and Warner Brothers Discovery. And the UK has commenced its investigation into this. So we may not be entirely out of those Warner Woods yet.
The Warner Woods. I like that. Yeah.
Do you think that there is a world in which this deal falls apart? Zaslav cashes yet another breakup check because Paramount not only promised that this wouldn't fall apart, but increases the amount they pay for every quarter it goes past the deadline. Do you think he just takes that money and then goes back to Netflix and goes, hey guys, what about y'all?
It might. I'm going to put that on the board, Tom, because well, yeah, no, it might go down that way because on the one hand, part of the reason this is even going through is to save old Hollywood. But Tom, I don't think I'm the only one on this podcast who believes that old Hollywood is never coming back. And it's strange to try to keep it alive like that.
More than likely that this lawsuit does not succeed, that even if the UK investigation succeeds, Paramount is able to figure out a deal that says, okay, we'll make sure that we don't raise the price on this for this many years, and this all goes through. That is what is likely to happen. But now that there's a little more resistance than Paramount expected, there's a chance. Who knows?
Yeah.
Somebody else. Who knows?
Next
Maybe
season on Cordkillers.
Byron Allen comes in and buys it. Sling did a really interesting thing, began selling an everything worth watching in June package at a discount. So for $60, you get more than 50 channels, specifically the channels that you will need to watch the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Finals, and the beginning of the World Cup. And if you're an existing user, they are offering you this discount. You just have to go ask for it.
This is brilliant. This is getting out in front of what is obviously coming. We've been talking about how your robots are going to be able to subscribe just long enough for you to watch something and then unsubscribe for you. Sling knows that's the case. And so if they can please you and make you feel like you're an okay guy, that's a smart move. I think it's very savvy.
And finally, Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference is underway, and they announced some new features that will come to the Apple TV operating system, tvOS 27, when it releases this autumn. So keep that filed away. You're probably not going to get, unless you involve yourself in betas, you're not going to get this till October or so. But once it comes, you'll be able to adjust the size of subtitles and other on-screen text using a built-in slider. You'll also be able to choose to add captions where there are none. These will be generated by speech recognition, starting with English in Canada and the US. Your hearing aid will now be able to connect to Apple TV just like an AirPod does, so that you'll be able to listen while other people also listen. And there's a redesigned podcast app and something called Smart Downloads coming.
Yeah, fantastic. Did you watch the WWDC coverage? I assume you watched it all live.
I did, yes. It is my job as the host of Daily Tech News Show to watch it and talk about it multiple times over and over.
Yes, and not acknowledging the segue, is there one takeaway that people who didn't watch should know about it?
No.
That's what I figured.
There really isn't. If you watch Daily Tech News Show, you already know that I did a deep dive on Tuesday's show about how Google's Gemini is fitting into Apple Foundation models. And it is not as simple as, well, I guess Apple's just using Gemini now. It is not the off-the-shelf product from Google. It does have a lot of Apple's Foundation model in it. It's debatable how much, but it definitely does. And Apple is mostly about privacy with this stuff. And they went to great lengths to show how they're able to maintain privacy, even though they're using Google Cloud and NVIDIA chips and all of that. That's all for the tech enthusiasts. For the average person, In October, you'll get an update to iOS, and suddenly Siri will work better and have its own app. And Apple Intelligence will be able to do things that are useful that you could already do in ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, but now you'll be able to do them right on Apple. And for a lot of people, that'll be the first time that they vibe coded anything or did anything agentic. They just won't know it's called a vibe code or an agentic thing they're doing. They'll just be like, oh, my iPhone does this new thing now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, hold now for even more interesting things in the chatter.
Got mail.
We do. We get actual letters sent through the mail, the electronic mail to cordkillers@gmail.com. Chris wrote, "Hey Killers, the box office success of Backrooms and Obsession is impressive, but may not be the harbinger of future filmmaking that some people are making it out to be. Sure, new technology can open doors for young directors, but for every Robert Rodriguez, El Mariachi, who goes on to great commercial and artistic success, how many Kerry Conrans, Sky Captain in the World Tomorrow, or Daniel Myrick's The Blair Witch Project, do you have who are never heard from again?" I mean, I'm sure somebody heard from them. I hope so. And in the end, how different is Hollywood today from what came before? Across generations and technologies, Hollywood is the Borg that assimilates every new challenger. Thanks for guiding us across this post-apocalyptic wasteland. You're welcome, Chris.
Yeah, man. Look, you want to know why they were never heard from again? They did a documentary on it. It's called The Blair Witch Project.
Witch Project. Did you not see it, Chris?
It's a terrible tragedy what happened. But in all seriousness, the individual players, not everybody's cut out for the Hollywood machine, and some like it and want to thrive there. Other people did their tour of duty, and their influence is felt, the echoes ripple on for a long time afterwards while they move on to other stuff. So, I don't know, like, we agree.
I think Hollywood is quite a bit different than it was in the 50s. And Hollywood in the 50s was quite a bit different than it was in the 20s. But Hollywood changes very slowly. So it's these kinds of disruptions that are easy to recognize, but the effects of them sort of trickle out over the years. I think. Jason writes, "Did you hear about that hot new movie? You know, that movie streaming on 1, Apple TV. Though I do associate it more with hot series than movies, it gets a little bit of a halo effect and a bit of a boost due to it being one of 2 subscribed services. 2, HBO Max. 3, Amazon Prime. 4, Netflix, finally. That's the order my head went through, and I'm only subscribed to Apple TV and Netflix."
Yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for giving a genuine response on that. I would not have thought. I guess Apple TV also gets a pretty good boost because was it Coda? Was that the Oscar-winning movie?
Coda was an Apple TV.
Yeah.
Although all Apple TV movies show up in the theaters first.
Yeah, but still, the question, the prompt that I put to everyone is, which streaming service pops to mind first?
Right. George writes, "The reason I didn't realize that you had already done West Wing. Guys, again, great review. I finally realized why I didn't recall these. I originally subscribed to Cordkillers as a podcast. This review was done as YouTube only, and it took me a while to figure that out, and I never got caught up. Again, great show." I don't think that's accurate, though.
It is in his experience because we do have kind of a complicated, we have multiple RSS feeds and the full experience. I think that was around the time that we
okay. So we used to have separate RSS feeds for Cordkillers and for Cordkillers and Spoiler in Time.
Correct.
And he must have subscribed just to Cordkillers.
Yeah, our SEO game could use some cleaning up. That's one of the projects.
It was not YouTube only, but you weren't subscribed to the feed that included Spoiler in Time.
Right. So nor did we make it easy to find out about that feed at the time.
These days, there's only one public feed, Cordkillers, and it has both in it. So it wouldn't be as much of a big deal now. Okay. Thank you for the clarification, George. Ben from Woodinville, Washington writes, 2 recent topics hit home for me, so I thought I'd share my edge case perspectives. If I only got to keep one streaming service, it would be YouTube. But I don't like the algorithm's influence. In my continuing effort to avoid doom scrolling, I wrote an app that scans my subscriptions and builds a DVR playlist of unwatched videos so I can only see what I actually want. On the Hulu app front, the shutdown isn't a big deal for most people, but it does hit Tesla owners. Elon removed the Disney app from most Teslas for some reason I don't remember, but Hulu stayed. So once Hulu sunsets the app, it will mean no more Bob's Burgers while I'm charging. Keep up the good work, Ben.
Yeah. I actually am I don't know either. The algorithmic influence, I love the fact that everybody's just vibe coding their own solutions to it. I think that that's going to be less and less novel and just kind of become, we're all wizards
Even
now.
if you don't want to vibe code a solution, you could just go to the subscriptions tab every time you start YouTube. There is, and I don't want to sound judgy when I say this, but there is a bit of an air of like, I don't know, I go and the algorithm gives me this and I keep watching it and then it keeps giving me that. I'm like, well, don't watch that. You can train the algorithm, watch other things.
That is one of those unspoken things. Like everybody's telling on themselves. I talked about this with my 18-year-old daughter, Josie, when people describe the TikTok app, it is a Rorschach test in which they tell on themselves. They're like, TikTok, you mean the booty shaking app? It's like, well, I know what your fingers linger on.
Yeah. Would you like to compare our YouTube top recommendations right now?
Yeah, although mine's going to be a bit nutty. Here.
Well, but that's the case, right? Like,
yeah.
I think it's important to do this more often. We've been doing this with Instagram on It's a Thing, and it's really eye-opening for all of us to be like, yeah.
Number one is us right now streaming.
Okay.
Or maybe previously. Then it's introducing Claude Fable 5.
Right,
then
the Mythos.
Chad Caruso. I checked in every single day and I cheered for him. He skated all the way across America. He got all the way to the coast last week. I don't know what this Andor thing is. Man carrying thing is apparently popular right now. I watched one, so I get a bunch of these.
Thing. Yeah.
I learned about this ESP home drive, and then I don't know. That's about as far as I get. And then Tijuana Jackson, bars, spitting bars.
All right. I don't think you'll be able to see mine, but Beers of the Beano, which is DTNS listener RW Nash, his own channel where he reviews beers. Then it looks like a YouTube short from my office hours stream earlier. The promo for the Le Seraphim Islet Cat's Eye joint track, MacBook Neo solution. Chaywan is so cute. The Whale Fall official teaser. Your latest music recap. Boris City Live, why BTS Festa is different this time. DK TV on Korean news. The Le Seraphim Weavers Con full concert presentation.
So what is the fix to not just being funneled places? Because I can feel the pull of that funnel, and the problem is it's only serving me flavors that it knows are going to be highly, to be honest, I cannot wait for the YouTube Studio app to allow me to change the thumbnail on a short. Right now you have to go to the native YouTube app, and it is like walking across a minefield to successfully make it to the menu without accidentally seeing something so interesting that I get sucked into it.
Well, I think that's the key. And the reason I like this exercise is you look at me and Brian and I get along. We have a lot in common. We have entirely different algorithms because we're using YouTube in entirely different ways. If you don't like what YouTube is giving you, you're lying. You like it. You just don't want to like it. So you have to think of it that way. And when you choose to watch something on YouTube, don't just go, oh, that looks interesting, I should watch it. If you want to change it, if you don't want to change it, don't do this. But if you want to change it, think of every time you watch something or even let it autoplay as a vote. I am telling YouTube, give me a lot more of that. I want more of that. The other thing I do is when I have watched something and then the algorithm gives me 4 other versions of it because it's like, hey, you just watched some jazz vinyl streamers. Here's 5 more jazz vinyl streamers. I never watch them back to back. I never go right back in and watch another one because it's like calling back too soon after a date. YouTube's like, oh, you really like this, then that's all I'm going to give you. You can also do like, go to DuckDuckGo and watch it disconnected from your account or be in a not logged in or incognito mode or stuff like that. But the easiest thing is just resist the impulse to just watch everything it serves you and be more selective. Maybe even just go to the subscriptions thing or vibe code an app like Ben did.
Tom, would you say that your advice is be the change you want to see in the YouTube algorithm?
That's a good way of putting it. I like that. Yeah. That's very good. Sean Rockhawk Brave J Hawk writes, I'm watching the Oklahoma-Kansas NCAA baseball tournament and noticed that one of the pitchers for Oklahoma is named Cord Rager.
Nice.
Which made me think of you and the times I've had to deal with the local cable company. I happen to be a Kansas fan, but Cord Rager is doing fantastic in tonight's game.
Yeah. When we get canceled this time, we're going to be Cord Ragers.
Cord Ragers. Yeah, maybe we should cancel ourselves so we can reemerge as Cord Ragers.
Yeah.
And then finally, Keith gave us a test that I'm not going to try until we're finished with the Murder, She Wrote full experience. But he sent us a McSweeney's article titled, I'm Jessica Fletcher and I don't feel anything anymore when I find a dead body. He said, are you able to understand this article? Then your full experience was successful.
It's a great little article. And yes, I passed the test because it's written.
And you've only seen 2 episodes or 3 episodes now.
Yeah, 3. But plus the Magnum PI.
Right. That's
she's
true.
talking about how she feels nothing. Well, perhaps that's not true. I feel it's not quite excitement. It's like when you leaf through the paltry reading material at the dentist's office and you discover someone has neglected to fill out the People magazine crossword puzzle. So I'm keeping busy, but basically I feel nothing for all the dead bodies that she encounters. It's amazing.
I'm keeping busy. That's great. Well, folks, our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. And we are live on twitch.tv/nightattack and youtube.com/modernrogue Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote.
Do you know that the
can't wait to
murder
talk about
rate in
this episode.
Cabot Cove is greater than Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago combined?
It's a dangerous place. You don't want to live in Cabot Cove.
Yeah.
Nor do you want to live in
Especially if
any
you're-
of the fictional cities in which murder mysteries are set.
Yeah.
What was the one I used to watch that was set on a Caribbean island? There was a BBC show, Murder by Death.
No, Murder by Death was that Neil Simon made-for-TV movie. Or Death by Murder? Murder by Death.
Death by Murder.
I forget which
Death
one.
in Paradise. That island also has an insanely high murder rate.
Yeah. Well, I'm good to just jump right into the full experience.
All right. Look at you and your hefty bladder.
No, I mean, all things being equal, I'd love to run to the restroom.
Well, let's do it. I mean, do the episode.
Oh, okay. I was like, which one? You want to come along?
Let's go.
It's great.
Bring the camera. Welcome back to the full experience. This is an experiment, an ongoing test to see just how many television shows we can speak intelligently about while only watching 4 episodes. We watched the first, ultimate, lowest, and the last episode. Right now, we are watching Murder, She Wrote. We are on the lowest rated episode, according to viewers who rated it on IMDb. Season 7, episode 18. Where Have You Gone, Billy Boy, which first aired March 17th, 1991, St. Patrick's Day. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Tom, I solved the mystery of why this is the lowest reviewed episode of Murder,
Did
She
you?
Wrote.
And one of you is the killer.
Actually, I loved this episode. I loved it
Did you?
more than any other episode that we've watched so far.
No.
I
No,
thought the highest rated
did not.
episode was too stilted by half.
Yes.
This one, number one, it's a documentary because I've been in that comedy club and I've met that ventriloquist and I have seen that kind of thing. I loved the low stakes shakeup outside of the murder. I loved that we got a break from Jessica Fletcher. I understand that everyone said boo the moment she was in it for 30 seconds and then said, anyway, it's a holodeck episode.
I'm sorry, Dennis, but I'm going to hand over the show to you this week for another backdoor pilot.
Yep.
Which apparently this was among several attempts of doing a backdoor pilot for Dennis Stanton in seasons 7 and 8.
Really?
So this may not be your best Dennis Stanton episode, actually.
Oh, well, then that's exciting. It can only go up from here.
Right.
Yeah, no, he's got that umbrella and that hat and that dapper jewel thief demeanor.
I hated it. I really did not.
Really?
Like it. Yeah. Let me tell you an old story. It happened last September. I'm like, that's not an old story.
That's why I look the same age.
Also, we on the Full Experience just met this guy. I know he's an ongoing character at this point, but it's still early in season 7, so I don't know how ongoing he is. And we get a flashback from that character. Anything with a ventriloquist is always suspect. And it was just so boring. It had me making notes like, ooh, the woman playing Kate Kelly is Worf's adoptive mother in Next Generation. Also, Rhoda was Data's daughter, Lal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you, Tom. Did you watch on...
23 minutes in before we had the murder, by the way. Go ahead.
I was there. To be honest, I was actually deeply rooting for, like, please let the mystery be what happened to the doll. Let that be the reason that it's the lowest rated. There's
episode.
not even a murder.
What were you going to ask me?
Did you watch it on Amazon? How did you watch it?
I bought it.
So I bought it in SD, and at first I thought that was a mistake. Like, well, surely it's got to be not in SD. But then it, was it?
I bought it in the only resolution they offered me. I didn't have a choice.
Well, and I believe the early ones, because they were all transferred on film, you could get in good HD.
The other ones I watched on Tubi, but I guess the Murder, She Wrote contract with Tubi ended on June 1st because this was the first one I've had to buy.
Yeah, well, there's definitely something different about the licensing rights on all that stuff because this one was not cleaned up. And as a result, it was very surreal because, number one, this is all standard definition stuff. You have grown-up actors with interesting character wrinkles on their face, and of course they're being made up to appear younger, and then somebody will smile and suddenly spider webs on their side. But on top of that, there's some kind of compression, algorithmic smoothing on it that created kind of a strange mannequin face on everyone.
I didn't get that. No.
Oh yeah, no, I that's well, I guess that answers that question. You didn't get that at all?
No, I didn't get the mannequin thing. I didn't get any upscaling or anything. It just seemed like a normal old print.
Yeah.
Or something, but probably not as good looking as the first two we watched. I may have noticed that, but it didn't really stand out. I did notice that they handed over phone metadata without a warrant.
Okay.
And it was not even a thing.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure why he took his gun to the empty locked basement. Because he's like, there's no one down there. I better run down and check on. He was looking for the evidence, and then he took his gun because, well, we all know that Dennis is down there, so I guess he better take the gun so that we have that. I don't know, man. This was not a very good episode. Maybe I was just missing Jessica Fletcher.
What did you think of the, I guess, autistic coded ventriloquist who didn't feel comfortable expressing himself?
It was the more interesting character that was the centerpiece of the setup, and then we barely saw the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, man, I loved it. I loved. You know what?
Like once he gets locked away, it's like, okay, he's done. We're not talking to him again.
It gave me that rarest of gifts, a genuine surprise.
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I was surprised that Daly City was only 30 minutes away at that point, and maybe it was in the 80s. Traffic was different.
You know what else? And you're right, Tom. This is an indication that perhaps this is a very boring episode. I had a good murder mystery of wondering what are those Chinese characters and can they be translated? And so I took a picture and I put it on ChatGPT and it was able to say, it's this. And then it correctly identified. It's like, yeah, this is probably a generic prop that they have in the background. It says so-and-so towing and it has this number.
I went on Google Maps to try to find the location of the club.
It's an interactive adventure we had, Tom.
It really is. Their offices, I was a little disappointed. They're just offices now. Larry Flint's club is just down the street, like 1 block down the street. Like today it is. I don't know if it was in the 80s. But the block that the comedy club and the Japanese restaurant next to it are just an office building now. No signage, nothing. Just, boring.
What? It almost seems quaint. I think that the fever pitch of comedy clubs, late 80s, 1991 is before the collapse started to happen on all of those. So it's like, that was kind of believable that everybody would be that passionate about their contracts and not going to Vegas and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. The whole Vegas thing was funny. Like, that's where we all want to end up. I'm like, wait, in the 80s, wasn't it still kind of like, ooh, at the end of your career, you end up in Vegas? But I guess it was either the start or the end. So if you were starting out, it would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a good time. Amos, did you watch it?
I did.
What did you think? You're going to be the tiebreaker. Mommy and Daddy are not speaking right now. You have to mediate between the two of us.
Which one's which? Anyway, I really enjoyed anytime there's a ventriloquist that doesn't want to speak but only wants to speak through the dummy. For some reason, that just tickles something in my brain that says happy.
That's your favorite genre.
I just like that. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. When it does, I really like it. I thought this was a great take on essentially autistic characters. I thought that was fun. It didn't feel, it felt true to the time, but not derogatory.
Well, and what I loved
like,
about it is they kind of no-sold it as being a medicalized thing. They just like, ventriloquists. Am I right? They're like that.
Right.
They always be ventriloquizing. And when he was criticized for it, it was more of a like, you can't always use the dummy. It wasn't stop using the dummy, it's bad. It was like, it's cool sometimes, but now we really need you to talk to us. That was interesting.
Right. And the swing of him bringing the dummy in there to get the ventriloquist to actually tell his side of the story.
Very smart of Jewel Thief Dennis Stanton.
But it didn't seem forced. It seemed almost kind of a natural thing. Like, it played well.
Yeah.
For some reason, I had the murder pegged at the very beginning before we even knew there was a murder. Like, just something about the way
who would have killed who already.
Yeah. Just that one little scene there in like the hallway where they're like yelling at each other, and
I thought they did.
It came right after the office scene, and I was like, that's got to be.
I thought they did a pretty good fake out where the manager was a little bit too eager for that $10,000 check, and I was like, ooh, maybe he has to.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
I really liked how the cop was mad at the person trying to solve the murder. That was cool.
You didn't like that.
The key.
The key. Okay, all right. It's a bit. You can't tell me it's any more or less ridiculous than Murder on the Bus. Like the two of them side by side. Murder on the Bus was as ridiculous, only less approachable, with a bunch of stars I didn't care about. At least these had future Star Trek: The Next Generation alum.
Murder on the Bus had pie, though. That was a big winner for me. That was a big selling point for me.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it is interesting that this is the best and the worst episode.
They awfully close to these guys. Pretty much the same. One of them closer to my
had
world.
Jessica Fletcher, though.
That's fair enough.
The Star of Murder she wrote.
You know what? Tom Bosley.
And it wasn't a murder she wrote at all. It was a murder she was told about.
So far, in our full experience, we've had 5 episodes adjacent of the series and only one Tom Bosley where he was just basically Worf in that episode. We,
Yeah. That is interesting. As much as Tom Bosley was in everything for a while, I think that one positive this for the full experience is that we got Dennis Stanton, who I think is an important part of this era of Murder, She Wrote, because they kept trying to use him to create their own spin-off series of him. And I think that is a thing that fans of Murder, She Wrote probably talk about. Like, oh, it's a Dennis Stanton situation. So now we know who he is and we're well-versed on his quirks and all of that.
Yeah.
Because, who doesn't love a character that works for an insurance company?
I love, to be honest, it was a breath of fresh air. I'm like, oh, you mean it's not
At least
just
it
a
was
hobbyist?
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
I
there
actually
you go.
enjoyed his acting as well. Like it didn't feel, he didn't feel like a guest. It felt like almost like it was his show, at least for this episode. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It felt good.
He did take a, he didn't shy away from being the main character.
You want to know my biggest surprise? They didn't even bother to go back to Jessica Fletcher and say, what a story. Nope. It's just like, anyway, I'm great. The end. Loved it.
Credit.
Who remembers Jessica Fletcher? No one. I'm Dennis Stanton. I've always been
It's a
here.
hard
It's
sell
Murder,
on the-
I Wrote.
on the
Tom,
soft
I
launch.
think you're only making me love this episode more.
That's fine. I'm happy for you. That's all. That's all I could say. I'm glad one of us, two of us, liked it.
I also really enjoyed the manager guy with the pencil in his mouth instead of cigarette. Like he should have had a cigarette in his mouth just hanging there, but instead he had a pencil.
Yeah, not in primetime
And I didn't know
TV
if that was
in
like the
91.
actor didn't want to be smoking, or if it's like new thing. For
No,
the
I
early
think they had
90s,
stopped
they didn't
putting
want people
cigarettes on
smoking.
television by 91. That was not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
Well, any other thoughts on Where Have You Gone, Billy Boy from St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 1991?
No. Now I want to kind of watch maybe some other ones.
You're gonna go on a Dennis Stanton
Maybe.
binge now?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If it happens
All right.
to be on. And
Well, before you do that, let's get the last episode of Murder, She Wrote out on the books. Death by Demographics from March 19th, 1996. I really hope this is just heavily veiled shots at the network for
I hope
well,
that
all your audience is dead now, so we can't keep you on the air anymore.
Can we just real quick, Blue Sky, what we think it is? She goes to LA to meet a TV writer friend who's great at everything, who's finally getting his big shot, and it's taken away from him, and he's killed, and she makes an impassioned plea, and ultimately it was death by demographics.
Yes, I like that. Something where her books are going to be turned into TV episodes, I think is.
Yeah. She gets noted to death. Her project is killed.
Jessica is the final victim.
Billy Boy shows up and is the murderer.
He's a huge hit these days. Remember him from 5 years ago? Dennis Stanton saved his life. All right, that is it. Season 12, episode 24, Death by Demographics is the next episode, the last episode of Murder, She Wrote. Tune in to our After Talk segment if you want to find out where we're going to go after Murder, She Wrote, because we're all going to talk about it and figure out next, and it may not be where you think. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the show. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. That's where you get After Talk as well as these episodes earlier. We will talk to you next time.
Bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Bye, live viewers.